Hello guys, I'm Felicity from Felicity the Power Within. This is another inspirational video from 11 Minutes with Felicity. And the goal with this series is to awaken the power of people around the world. Today I have an amazing woman here. Her name is Dominique from Switzerland in Europe. She is a yoga and meditation teacher. She is also a certified hypnotherapist and an integrative nutritional health coach. So you will find more about her work. You will find her Instagram account and her email address in the video. So welcome, Dominique. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Please, Dominique, tell us more about what you do and who you are.
So I teach yoga and meditation, which is very well combined also with my hypnotherapy. I trained with Marissa Pierce. So I do something called rapid transformational therapy, which is very useful because you don't need many sessions. Usually you resolve whatever you want to resolve with one session. Sometimes for certain addiction or very deep-rooted issues, you might need a second one or a third one. But usually one session is sort of all you need. And the wonderful thing is when you work on one issue, it usually automatically resolves other issues. So you don't need to come back for other things because when I do a hypnotherapy, I only focus on one subject at a time. And then I also do, and then I do health coaching. And I very much like there to focus on bringing people's own awareness up so that they intuitively will know what to eat and what is good for them.
Yeah. So, Dominique, we were talking before about shadow work and the shadow in our lives. So I would like to ask you to expand more on what is shadow actually for people who are watching this. What is shadow and how does it manifest in our day-to-day lives?
Yeah, so we have this balance, the sun and the moon, the good and the bad, but the shadow work is just part of that. So we try to hide this one part maybe of ourselves. I can give some examples. For example, if you have a lot of anger, it's a very apparent shadow. You can see it very clearly. Others can notice it and see it. It doesn't mean that that person has more shadow than other people. It's just that it's much more clear. And that shadow, once you bring it into unity and accept that within yourself and not trying to work against it, you sort of invite it in with love, then you can use that anger because anger is powerful. It's a lot of energy. You can use that anger to just drive a project to be extraordinarily successful. So you just channel it in unity within yourself. Another example of shadow work would be if you're absolutely in need of love and acceptance, and you need that so much, you end up maybe being manipulative. Not because you're maybe not aware of it, but it's driving you so much because you have that need. So when you realize it and you bring it in, you will be more true to yourself and you will actually get more in return of acceptance and love because you work through it. So a lot of this work is just peeling off one layer to understand and see that within yourself so you can bring that love and unity into it. And it's not just in hypnosis. Every aspect of what you eat is self-love, and very often we might eat something just to push a feeling down, which is covering up the shadow side. Some people, of course, might drink or use other substances or have other reactions to try to push that feeling away rather than just sitting with it. So I think that's a little bit of an giving you an example what a shadow is, and how right now I think in the world this shadow work is just happening so much everywhere. It's coming to surface, and when one comes to surface and we learn to incorporate that in, the next one is coming up. So it's not an end goal, it's a platform where you take step by step and you live with it. It's not that I'm going to reach that goal where I don't have it. No, it's just about incorporating more and more in to become whole.
So how can a person living this normal life on earth, having a job, driving a car, going to work, at least in normal times, or the new normal, let's say, how can a person work with their shadow in order to tame it? Probably, maybe it's required or not.
Yes, exactly. I think when you're like if I feel it for myself and I notice that something is happening that triggers me or feels uncomfortable, especially in the last year, because our nervous system is much more abused. So if we do any kind of simple breathing exercise, breathing work, just breathing deep into our stomach, letting the stomach out, so we really feel that oxygenation coming all the way through our bodies into our cells, we immediately connect a little bit more to our intuition and invite that shadow side in. Doesn't have to be more complicated. But then if we have specific things that keep repeating habitually, a reaction or a certain pattern or behavior, then hypnosis really works very well to dig out that root. Because when we realize, oh, I'm repeating it. Oh, that's where it started. I understand now. Oh, I see why I did that. And then I learned it as a habit to protect myself. And then we don't feel bad about it. We just say, oh my God, that's all it was. And now I'm going to change because I understand that. So the first part is really understanding it. And if you don't want to do hypnosis, you just use your breath, because you're bringing that into your breath. And whatever exercise you do, whether it's yoga or even other type of exercise, you move your body, so you get rid of your habitual ways of holding your body. And when you do, it affects your mind not to have the same habits. That also incorporates that. So really breathe, go out in nature, connect with nature, and do some exercise, and eat healthy, good food, because that removes blocks that keep you in your own shadow more than necessarily. And it's really that simple, but it seems much harder.
Do you believe that shadow can manifest itself differently in teenagers, adults, and seniors? Or you don't think it's related to age, or I don't know, maybe if you go deeper when you were, let's say, over 60 or over 70, maybe it's more difficult?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I feel that the shadow is really something that either is individual or on a collective basis. So on a collective basis, we have different events that show up as the shadow. But on per age, it depends, because the young kids are very aware these days, extraordinarily aware, and they realize very quickly what their shadow is. They're very easy to work with in that respect, because they are so malleable. And of course, when you get a little bit older, those habits are more ingrained, so they seem heavier as shadow work. And if you never dealt with them, then it seems heavier. But so we just need to take one step at a time and start peeling them off. And sometimes around 50, people also go the other way. They've had enough of it, and they have an awakening, and they just say enough. Doesn't mean they still don't have shadows, but they are on another level. So I don't think you can categorize it by the age. It's really an awakening awareness process. And one person is not more spiritual than another person. Everyone is equally as spiritual, but for different protection reasons, we have chosen to protect ourselves from that information. And when we take that away, it can be very uncomfortable, so uncomfortable that some people don't want to deal with it. And that's why the breath work is so important. But when you take it away and you realize that you can make the new normal, so it's not so uncomfortable, so that the new becomes your comfort zone. And when you do that once, you can go deeper. So even in hypnosis, you only go as deep as your body will let you at that time. And then you uncover that. And then you take the next step when you made that your comfort zone, your new normal. And I think that's how to look at it between different ages, in my humble opinion. Yeah.
That's great. So how do you work with your own shadow? You, Dominique, how do you work every day with your shadow?
Well, the best guide and trigger and person in my life to bring that up is my husband. Usually in a relationship, you're confronted with that more than anywhere else. So in that respect, he's my guru, because he really brings it out of me, and I have to face it and I have to bring it up and deal with it. And of course, I then use breath work. I use my own tools. I'm not better than anyone else. I also need those tools to move beyond the next step. And I think it's not about comparison. It's just to work with those tools and be kind and nice to yourself, and keep a good, consistent, your own consistent work up, so that you get out of your comfort zone and train yourself and train your nervous system to be able to receive more. Because the more you train yourself to be able to receive, the more you're going to get, the more you're going to have to deal with it. And I can see that with myself, because I do then get confronted with a lot more. And it's a love-hate relationship, of course.
Great. Thank you very much.
Lots of love.
Bye. Bye, bye, bye. Bye.